What if I told you these plants, which are part of a larger jungle, all reside within an IKEA display case? It's true. Better yet, this breathtaking display is an easier solution than a pot and is made possible with simple techniques. The reason I'm making this is because apparently we don't have enough plants already. My wife insisted that I make her a greenhouse cabinet with the following: a cork background, driftwood, and a lot of plants with pops of red. Of course, I'm not going to bore you with the details on how I built the Milsbo Case. All you need to know is that I didn't read these, and I wasn't about to waste my time with this stupid thing. I cut off the end to create a drill bit for maximum efficiency. Here's the case done and built according to default specifications. It has to be modified, and the 3 shelves it came with are the answer to jungle greatness. The first has to cover the bottom to create a watertight seal. That will involve silicone. I taped along the edges of the glass just behind the metal frame so it will remain inconspicuous. Another shelf will go right in the front to retain the substrate. I later taped its edges and applied bumpers under it for proper silicone application. I ran the beads one corner at a time. This made it easier to smooth them out, and in the end ensure one consistent bead covers both the metal and glass. Otherwise, it might not be waterproof. The unit also comes with these shelf brackets which help stabilize the glass. I sealed the lower ones for good measure. Once the silicone was cured and all the tape removed, it was time for the background. Well, sort of. I cut down the case packaging to create risers for the last shelf and notched foam to stabilize it. I taped along its edges and applied silicone. While that cures, we can address the back. Compressed cork panels are a great option that actually look pretty good and keep it simple. However, the shelf brackets are in the way. That's nothing a little notch won't solve. These panels come with adhesive tape, which is great for an immediate hold while the silicone cures. Adding both makes the process a breeze. However, the panels aren't big enough to cover the entire back as is. It's an easy fix though. You just break up the cork into smaller pieces with rough edges and silicone them on top of the main area. The result kind of resembles a topographical map, but I like it. Plus, this easy technique will be perfect for creating a nice backdrop for our jungle box. With this addressed, it's just about ready to become a jungle. Before we can do that though, we gotta install a light. A waterproof shop light is a great option, and mounting them is easy. For this one, I marked it from the outside and drilled for the mounting brackets, which I zip tied in place. The cord required an exit, so I drilled another hole. However, the metal shouldn't be exposed, so I covered both sides with seam tape to seal it off from the elements. Now we can get a better view of the background and cabinet in general. Looks pretty good to me. Let's move down to the foundation. No need to reinvent the wheel. Leca clay pellets are a great option for the false bottom. Since there's no direct drain, I'm adding an optional feature, a PVC pipe with holes drilled in the bottom. It will encourage evaporation from the false bottom layer, and water can be drained from it if necessary. It's best to minimize fine particles in these layers. Implementing a barrier like this geotextile fabric will prevent that. I don't want anything in that pipe either, so I plugged it for now. Adding a layer of charcoal below the substrate is beneficial. It removes impurities and creates a nutrient sink for the plants. Anything similar to an ABG mix that remains fluffy in a wet environment would be suitable for this. I filled the rest of the space with the mix, starting in the front. This retains everything behind the glass, resulting in a series of planting tiers. I don't know about you, but I think it's looking pretty good. And as much as I want to start adding plants, no jungle would be complete without some driftwood. I decided to use a few branches from my oak stockpile outside. I've been sitting on these pieces for months, and the time is right. Now for the purposes of this build, I just had to clean them off with a pressure washer. This thoroughly removes any debris, and the difference before and after is astounding. Back inside, I attempted to escape with this one, but it just wasn't right. I instead worked in the skinny branches. They fit really well, but the third one took some finesse. Now it's ready for plants. However, many of them were too large. I got around that by splitting them up into manageable portions. This Schefflera will help create a dense canopy as it fills in. I pulled out one of the branches to mount this pothos. It was already routed onto a board, so I just had to transfer and rewire it to this. I'm really pleased with how it looks and excited to see how it fills in long term. I also added a calathea in the corner. The build itself may be simple, but I did get some unique plants. Take this variegated Cebu blue pothos for example, or this incredible alocasia. It has these velvety type leaves that I think are really incredible and will take this design to the next level. The alocasia truly gives off a jungle feel, don't you think? Around this and in the front, I continued working in plants until I could finally add those pops of red. I love how everything came together down here, but the canopy really needs some work. Bromeliads are another quintessential jungle plant. Since these are epiphytes, I was able to simply wire them to the branch. Air plants are great as well. This big one fit perfectly between the branches, while the small ones had to be glued in place. I enjoy keeping houseplants by traditional means, but something like our jungle box is a little more my speed. There's just something so appealing about it, don't you think? Keeping most tropical plants within a closed environment is generally less work than their potted counterparts. They require less frequent watering and appreciate the boosted humidity. This can be watered exactly the same as houseplants, but any epiphytes should be sprayed directly. The trailing and vining plants have places to grow as well. However, everything must be trimmed to maintain the aesthetic. Most of these plants can get quite large after all. My only complaint with it right now is that the canopy has to fill in significantly. I kept it fairly bare for now since most of these will grow taller and the pothos will climb the branches. In a few months' time, this Milsbo will be even more unrecognizable than it is now. All things considered, I'm really pleased with how this one turned out, and I think it's a great example of how you can bring the jungle into your living room. I didn't build it for myself though, so it doesn't really matter what I think. I got Alyssa on camera duty. What do you think?
I love it. My favorite plants are the ones with the orange leaf, the one underneath of it with the yellow leaves, the velvet one, and of course the air plant. It's everything I wanted and more, and now I have ideas for more projects for myself. All right, sounds good. Yeah, I tried to select some things that I knew you'd like and that I felt would do well in here, so did a good job, I guess.